We're at the Ulster American Folk Park. It's one of our 4 museums. Ulster American Folk Park tells the story of Ulster immigration to North America from roughly the 1750s to the early 1900s. When you look at the story of immigration from Ulster to North America, I think there's many things that we can be rightly proud of. We can be proud of our ancestors who left these shores and settled in new lives in America. We can be proud of the cultural legacy of those immigrants, and that legacy continues to this day. But we also, as a museum institution, we also need to recognise that history of immigration, any history is complex and diverse as well. So whilst there are stories of success and achievement, there are also stories of hardship and struggles and loss that comes alongside immigration. And we also have to be cognizant of the negative impacts of immigration as well, such as the impact on Indigenous peoples and on enslaved peoples too. So our job at Ulster American Folk Park is to tell all of those stories in an inclusive and diverse way. And we really find that doing that, bringing those voices forward, being diverse, being inclusive, creates this rich tapestry of a living history experience that keeps Ulster American Folk Park relevant today, 50 years on since it opened. I think definitely that's one of the characteristics of Ulster people, that there is very much a determination to self-determine. There's a drive, there's almost a will that exists within Ulster people. I think that's back in the mythology of this real sort of stubborn determination. I think that's travelled with Scots-Irish and Ulster Scots people. That drive to self-determine, I think, was quite influential in the Declaration of Independence itself.
We're going to be celebrating and marking the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. So we've got a programme called The Stories of Us. It's a play on the words. It's both US and us as in the people of Ulster and Ireland who left here to the United States during the 18th and 19th century, and the impact they had on the formation of what is now the United States of America. We have our daytime programme where we tell the story of John Joseph Hughes, the Archbishop of New York, Robert Campbell, who was in the Rocky Mountains and was a fur trader and eventually settled in St. Louis, and Thomas Millen, who had a remarkable life that he left here as a young child, went to Pennsylvania, eventually became a judge and opened a bank, which is the Millen Bank, and now known as BNY Millen. And we tell their stories. We tell the stories through both the male story but also the female story. And we think it's really important to bring forth women's voices to our stories during this period, as well as we're bringing forward Indigenous voices and Black American voices as well.
We are in the boyhood home of John Joseph Hughes. He was born here in County Tyrone in 1797 and he left this house at the age of 20 for America. Hughes' family were involved in the linen trade. The linen trade was suffering and America offered economic potential to a family like the Hugheses. And when John Joseph arrived, he found work as a gardener at a number of locations, but most importantly at Emmitsburg, at the famous seminary there, Mount St. Mary's. And after much pleading, he was allowed to enroll as a student there, and he was ordained as a deacon in 1825. But what John Joseph is probably most famous for is St. Patrick's Cathedral, 5th Avenue in Manhattan, probably America's most famous and celebrated church.
The Irish, the Scotch-Irish, the Ulster Scots really contributed to the formation of what is now known as the United States of America. The culture, the music, the influence of religion as well, the influence of our foods, and just how we as a society brought who we are to the United States of America, and that has filtered through into what is now known as the American culture of today.